Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Happy Friday to you. I had a fun video planned for this morning talking with Smiley and Scratch about some of the Platinum Arena stuff that they've been experiencing, but we might have to release that later or tomorrow morning because we've got some big news in Plarium going to be adjusting the Hydra and making some nerfs to make this more accessible to more players, hopefully, and make it less of a miserable experience going against the Hydra that I know some of you are expressing in my comment sections and on stream and stuff. So what we're going to do in this video is dive into these changes and get you the full context and get you my reaction to them. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, this is something that I have been clamoring for from the start, is to make some adjustments to the Hydra because I understand that it's endgame content and we can't whine about everything to be super easy. We do need difficult content in the game. We do need endgame mechanics in the game, but what I have been arguing is to make like normal and hard easier so that people can at least like get into the Hydra and experience that mechanic a little bit easier. I understand that like brutal and nightmare and getting the top tier drops in the Hydra should be very endgame and should take a very highly like developed account to be able to get to that point, but I just want to see like normal and hard become a little bit more accessible so people, you know, once they kind of get some maxed out champions and some good champions, they can at least start experiencing that mechanic and then scale the rewards to get definitely way better as you are able to get up into those higher difficulties so that people can at least you know, dive in and not feel like it's just such a miserable task to go against the Hydra, especially when you have to manual it so much. It becomes something a lot of the player base views as a chore, but I do want it to be difficult, so I don't want it like nerfed into the ground where it becomes trivial or anything. So it's a very, to be fair to them, it's a very tough line to walk for sure to make this a successful addition to the game. So let's dive into some of these changes and see if it is going to be a step in the right direction towards achieving that difficult task. So the following stats will be decreased for all difficulties: HP, attack, and defense. Okay, that's pretty standard. We're just going to take the base stats that are going to affect how hard the Hydra hits and how hard you are able to hit the Hydra, how much damage you are able to do to it. It's going to become easier for the player just across the board. Now, we don't get any hard data on this. I don't know if that means 1%, 10%, 20%. So that could be a very significant change. That could be very minor. We didn't get any details in terms of the exact adjustment there, but a decrease all in all, I'm good with that. Then we've got the countdown of mark of the Hydra will be increased from 16 to 20 turns. So this is the mechanic where you have a champion that gets marked basically, and then when that countdown expires and hits 0, the Hydra will run in and consume that champion, and then you will have to do damage to that head, a certain amount of damage to go ahead and get that champion released back into your fight. So what it looks like is that mechanic is going to become a lot easier to deal with because not only is the duration increased until the that effect will happen, but also you'll be able to do a little bit more damage because the defense up top was lowered as well. So you'll be able to hit that damage threshold to get your champion back a little bit sooner. Then we've got, while the damage required to interrupt digestion and free your champion will be decreased on every difficulty except Nightmare. Now that's the kind of change I like. I'm totally cool with Nightmare, the last difficulty of the Hydra, being extremely difficult. I'm fine with that. So this all looks like it's going to be much more accessible because we've got stacking things like less defense, a higher duration, but then also just the mechanic in general is going to be decreased on every difficulty except Nightmare. So I think all in all, this is looking like a pretty solid start. But then down here, we get some specific changes to specific heads and some of their abilities. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what that is. So first up, we're going to get the Head of Mischief. And that is that super annoying head that you have to, if you don't hex it, you attack it, and it's got like a 75% chance to deflect your attack to a different head. So you have to bring somebody with like an AoE hex or something to get hex on that head so that you can actually target it, because what will happen is it will consume one of your champions, and then you can't even target the damn thing unless you have a hex on it, because it just deflects every attack to someone else. So you either have to bring AoE or hex to be able to deal with that head consuming one of your champions. But what it looks like they're going to be doing is the cooldown of the A2 skill, Spoils of Mischief, will be increased from 3 to 4 turns. So that is the one that is the buff spread mechanic, where it takes buff from this head and spreads it to all heads. We're going to be making this head a lot easier to deal with, increasing that from 3 to 4. That will enable you to get a much better rotation. The next adjustment is for the Head of Wrath. Now, that is the one that hits extremely hard, and it has that annoying passive that makes all Hydra heads take like 10% less damage from AoE attacks. So it is one that typically likes to be dealt with quickly. And what's going to happen is the defense stat will be decreased for all difficulties in order to make this damage dealer head less tanky, which makes perfect sense. It is a head that hits extremely hard and cranks out a lot of damage and has an insane passive that's just guaranteed consistent value for every head that you're going up against. So I do think it makes sense to make it less tanky if it's going to be one of the heavier hitting damage dealers. So I like that one as well. Then the Head of Decay. This head will no longer be no longer immune to provoke debuff. That is huge. You can bring someone who's a reliable provoker, which is famously War Chief, that you use in a fight like the Magma Dragon, and you just have you bring like a War Chief in and just have him keep this head permanently locked down. That could be a strategy that we see enabled and things like that. People that have provoke in their kit. It will still attack the champion with the lowest HP. That's the A1. Yeah, because like you provoke it, it's still going to get the effect from its A1, obviously, that attacks the champion with the lowest HP, and not the one who placed the provoke on it. Okay, so yeah, like even though you're provoking it, the Head of Decay, the A1 reads that it will specifically target the champion with the lowest HP. So even though you're provoking it and it should be attacking the champion that provoked it, it's still going to be granted the effect from the A1 that enables it to target someone else, if that makes sense. Which is why they say the A1 skill, Agonizing Jaws, will have priority over the Provoke, which I just kind of explained. But Provoke will neutralize its A2 Speed of Decay. Now, that's the one that I think is the most annoying. The Speed of Decay A2 is the one that removes all debuffs from all Hydra heads. It's just an instant AoE cleanse, and it's ridiculous. And then they have the Hydra head that pairs with it, that comes from behind and places like the Poison Cloud on everything. So that AoE cleanse is absolutely ridiculous to deal with. And then the A3 Rotting Ward is the one that is going to cleanse the more targeted head with like the lowest HP and put a life barrier on them. So that makes this head a lot easier to deal with if we can lay down a provoke and stop it from doing the cleanse to help our rotation until we can kind of get things in order. So all of these changes look pretty solid to me. And then at the bottom, they wrap it up by saying there will be a few more extra details that will be revealed in our raid digest a little bit later today. So stay tuned. Looks like we're going to be getting that post on like the Plarium website detailing a more laid out raid digest where we see kind of what is coming up in the near future for raid. So that is my thoughts on the Hydra. I think it should be a pretty good thing for the game all in all. I like it, and I think it's good that they're finally doing this. But let me know if you disagree or you agree. I always enjoy reading through your inputs down below and how you're feeling about things. But while we're here, we can do a quick wrap up heading into the weekend on what is going on, what you should focus on. And first, you'll notice that the 10X is live over the weekend. It's a pretty insane 10X. I do have a dedicated video going over this that I will link over there if you want to see a full breakdown of my opinions on these champions and the event itself. But it is absolutely ridiculous in terms of an event. The new Void Legendary Yumiko that is definitely sought after because of her ability that's kind of like a Kymar and a Warlord in one. And then Trunda and Lady Kimmy, Lysandra, all extremely solid legendaries. And then even the epics, if you're using this as a newer player or a progressing account that is looking for some of these impactful epics, all of those epics are great to have on your account in Madame Ceres, Deacon, Magnar, and Seeker. But again, that dedicated video is there from yesterday if you would like to check that out. Now let's pull up the Bivald of the Thorn calendar, as this will be kind of coming to a close here in the next few days, and it's getting really close to what you see is what you get. So right now is Friday, May 20th. Obviously, you've got your 20 Summoning Rush fragments that are going to be coinciding with that 10X that is happening this weekend. And then right now, you've got the Fire Night Tournament Live and the Classic Arena. So make sure you're getting in there and doing your fights and spending your tokens. We're going to wrap things up as we head into early next week with Champion Training and a Spider Tournament coming up here pretty soon. And you're also going to want to make sure you are upgrading some artifacts over the weekend to scoop up the 5 fragments available on Artifact Enhancement event that's going on right now. And there will also be a new promo champion similar to what Ninja and Alexander were, where they'll probably provide a promo code for new players to get a jump start in the game. And then also those new players will have access to unlocking a legendary right out of the gate for their first 7 days playing the game. And it will also be available to the whole player base, just like Ninja and Alexander were. As long as you are logging into the game and you're playing Raid during the promotion, you will acquire Deliana. Now, there's been a few different leaks in terms of the kit and stuff, but it looks like it's going to be a support that has a mechanic to block buffs on enemies, do some healing for your team, break the resistance of the enemies, and be kind of a utility support within the game. So it should be a decent champion if the cooldowns are good based on some of the stuff that we're seeing about the kit, but obviously all of that is subject to change, and we're just kind of theory crafting as best we can based off of what we're hearing until we finally see the champion live in game as a promotion, which should be happening here in the next few days, kind of starting around like May 23rd, May 25th, and then finishing up right in the early kind of days of June. As long as you are immediately active the first 7 days that the event is live, but the actual promo itself for new players coming to the game to acquire the champion will go on a little bit longer than that, like a few weeks typically. We are also getting close to the final week of this rotation of the Doom Tower, so a good time to maybe loosely start focusing on some of those secret rooms. I don't like to end up in a position where I'm doing 20 secret rooms on the last day of the Doom Tower. I like to kind of slowly chip away at them as we get to the last 10 days or so, which is about right now. So maybe a good opportunity for you to be reminded to dive into the Doom Tower and start consuming some of those secret rooms and the silver keys and using them in boss fights to farm up gear. Then for the shop section of the video here, looks like we've got some void offers coming through, a standard and a premium. So, okay, let's plug in the big one here. We've got the 70, and we're going to get 700k, and 24 of the void shards, and boom, a 2.08. Definitely not one of the better void shard offers we get. You can see that immediately with the purchase limit of 5. That typically means it's not going to be anything over a 2.0. I'm actually surprised that a purchase limit of 5 is over a 2.0. That's kind of rare. But let's so usually the other one, this one will probably be like a 1.98 if I plug in the other one. So let's lower the price here to 50, and let's change. Oh wait, I didn't put the gems in. Okay, wait, let me be fair. Sorry. Okay, let me be fair. 700 gems as well. I was so worried about the shards for the events coming up, but we do have some gems. Okay, 2.33. It's not bad. That's really good in terms of being a purchase limit of 5. So you may see some of your high spend Kraken whales maxing that out and YOLOing shards for sure. So let's go with changing this now. So that's a 2.33. We've got 50 and 500k. That's boom. The gems go down to 500, and the void shards go down to 14, and it goes from 2.33 up to 1.96. So the bigger one is definitely better. The $50 one would be a hard pass from me because it's under a 2. Then as far as the other offers, looks like we've got a $10 rare defense set. That is obviously going to be a hard pass. You already know the drill. I've talked about the Cold Heart skin here a few different times in a few different videos. And then we've got a Sacred Shard pack string, which these are typically the worst offers you see in game. So I don't even need to plug this in. You can quickly see we would be spending upwards of like $75, $80 for 4 Sacred Shards at like, it's just like one of the worst offers in the game are the ones that revolve around these sacred shards typically. So that gets us covered for this video. And remember to let me know down below what you think about the Hydra changes in general, because it's always fun to get other perspectives. But I think it's all in all going to be a good thing. I think these are good changes. They're long overdue in my opinion. We've kind of been giving them some of this feedback since the test server. So it's nice to see that finally get implemented into the game. But later on today or tomorrow morning, I will get that video out, the fun collab with Smiley and Scratch, talking about their platinum pushes and why they're kind of frustrated with the platinum arena in the current state of the game. So that will be coming soon. And as always, have a great rest of your Friday heading into the weekend. And thank you for watching. Peace.